This episode of the Profit Podcast is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is my favorite way to make a little money by watching football. PrizePicks is super simple to use and it's really easy to sign up. All you do is download the app and use promo code PROFIT when you sign up. When you do that, you're automatically entered to win a Josh Allen rookie card. Next, you're going to select the over or the under on your favorite players or any player that you think has a juicy matchup. And when you guess correctly, you make money. Easy as that. So go download PrizePicks using promo code PROFIT today. And without further ado, enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Profit Podcast. Everything NFL and fantasy football related all year long. With your host, Calvin Wright.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Profit Podcast. How is it going? It's week 14. Week 14 starts of the week, starts and sits. And for the first time ever, you can watch me do the podcast on Spotify. So if you're doing that, let me know how it looks. Go comment on TikTok. Tell me how it looks. I'm excited that I have that feature. That seems pretty neat. You can watch me on Spotify. Let me know if the camera is in focus and everything. I'm really not sure how it's going to look. But yeah, it's pretty neat that I have that ability now to post videos on Spotify. I didn't know it was possible till about 3 days ago. Anyways, at this point in the season, you probably have the vast majority of your team is locked in it. This is who I'm starting each week. So I'm just going to go over in this podcast my kind of starts of the week, these players that I really want to focus on because I don't need to tell you who to start at your quarterback. You know who you're starting if you're still alive. So here we go. Without further ado, quarterback one start of the week. Here we go. Ready for the hate? Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, everyone. He is my first quarterback start of the week. I said it a few weeks ago. I said, I'm not starting Russell Wilson till he shows me he's doing better. He's been looking better. 19, 15 points. Not fantastic, but better. The finger injury, we're getting farther away from that. He's getting healthier and healthier. And let's be honest, a big part of why I'm on board with starting Russell Wilson is he gets to play the Houston Texans. That's really the main kicker for me, the Houston Texans. I enjoy starting most people against the Houston Texans, but Russell Wilson, I think this is a get-right game for him. So I am starting Russell Wilson. Another quarterback that I'm starting that you probably, if you own him, are starting is Taysom Hill. He is my second start of the week. He faces the Jets. He has never started a game and been outside of the top 12, which is pretty ridiculous. He threw 4 interceptions last week, and in my league, at least, still finished with 20 points because he ran the ball 11 times for 101 yards against the Jets. He should be an easy top 10 quarterback. So I am starting Taysom Hill. He's only started right now in Sleeper in 36% of leagues. That number needs to go up before tomorrow afternoon. So starting Taysom Hill against the Jets. Now, another quarterback that I'm not excited about, but I understand if your quarterback is on bye. I think this guy might be good enough for you to win. It kind of hurts to say. Cam Newton. I'm starting him. He's going against Atlanta. Atlanta has been a very favorable matchup for quarterbacks all season, honestly dating back for like 6-7 years. And Cam Newton, he's already had a really good game this season. He had the really bad game against Miami, but Miami's defense has turned out to be a lot better than we thought it was at that time. So against Atlanta, I think Cam Newton can rush for, 10 rushes for about 60 yards and a touchdown, which that gives him a very good baseline of 12 points. Anything through the air is extra. But they fired the offensive coordinator. The coach came out and said, hey, we want to be running 30 to 40 times a game, which is pretty ridiculous. But if there's a quarterback who can lead that sort of ground and pound offense, it's Cam Newton. So I am starting Cam Newton. Only 17% of people are starting him right now. I understand it. It's about as scary as it gets with the playoffs hanging in limbo with you trying to reach for the playoffs, but I am starting Cam Newton against Atlanta. And he's going to be done at 1 o'clock. He plays at 1, so we're going to know pretty early in the afternoon if he completely messed you up. Alrighty. Running backs. The first running back start of the week is someone that I've been praising all season long. I praised all offseason. I've been very high on him since he was drafted. Javonte Williams. Now, I know Melvin Gordon is looking like he will be back, but I think they stick with the hot hand approach and give Javonte at least 65% of the snaps, 65 to 70. That is my hope. And I am going to put my money where my mouth is, and I am personally starting Javonte Williams in 3 leagues. If Melvin Gordon comes back and tanks his value, so be it, but I'm taking the risk and I'm starting Javonte, and I'm advising you do the same. His floor hasn't been that low. I think worst case scenario, 10 points, but best case scenario, we're looking at 20 plus points for Javonte Williams because he gets to face Detroit. So I am very excited about that. Now, another guy we need to talk about is it's Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara, people are worried about. He's been injured. He hasn't been great with Taysom Hill because Taysom Hill takes a lot of the rushing touchdowns. He takes a lot of, Alvin Kamara's floor and diminishes that. He doesn't throw as many checkdowns. But the Jets are the Jets, and Alvin Kamara is Alvin Kamara. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. I have doubted Alvin Kamara a few times in my life, and I have always been on the wrong side of history. Alvin Kamara, comes to shove, is one of the best players in the NFL. The Jets are one of the worst teams, maybe the worst, honestly. And especially now without Elijah Moore, I think Alvin Kamara will be absolute gold tomorrow against the Jets. And you were going to start him, but a lot of Alvin Kamara owners were probably a little bit worried, and they needed that little boost of confidence. So Alvin Kamara, I am starting him. And then we've got one more. I'm giving 3 at each position. Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones goes boom. He hasn't gone boom since week 2, honestly. He's been very inconsistent. He's been hurt. But Chicago is a matchup where the Packers play their best football. And Aaron Jones is still the starter here. And I don't think they will have to game script A.J. Dillon a large role. That has been a big part of why A.J. Dillon has been outscoring him is game script, whether Rodgers is gone, Devontae Adams is gone, we've got horrible weather, and I think that in this game against Chicago, we'll see the Packers offense the way they want to operate, which is still a run-heavy but pass-first team with Aaron Jones seeing a lot of 6 to 8 receptions, and I think Aaron Jones has his first big game in a while, 20-plus points for Aaron Jones to get people into the fantasy football playoffs. Alrighty. The next position we're doing is wide receiver. So we've done quarterbacks, running backs. Here are my 3 wide receivers that are, in my eyes, must starts tomorrow. Terry McLaurin. People have been worried about Terry McLaurin. He's been very inconsistent. We talked about it several weeks back. We said, I'm selling high on Terry McLaurin, not because he's not going to have big games, but because the inconsistency is going to devastate your team. So at this point, if you have Terry McLaurin, you have either bought low on him or you've somehow managed through the inconsistency. Dallas, Washington, this is a great rivalry. Dallas's defense has been floundering recently, and I think Terry McLaurin has one of his 12 target games. I think he gets things done. I think Terry McLaurin shows that he is truly an amazing wide receiver, and against Dallas puts up 18 plus points. So Terry McLaurin, most Terry owners are scared. Scary Terry has a whole new meaning right now. But Terry McLaurin, I think, will succeed and get things done for you. He's rostered in every league, but only started in 90%, which is pretty low for Terry McLaurin, someone who's drafted to be your wide receiver 1. I get it. 2 straight weeks, he hasn't cracked 10 points. But I think that changes, and I think he has a big game. Alrighty, up next is Stefan Diggs. Listen, Stefan Diggs has been somewhat underwhelming this season. He's had big games, but he's also disappeared a few times. At the end of the day, he's the number 9 wide receiver. Not bad, but not what you wanted. Listen, Tampa Bay's secondary is weak. They're giving up points to wide receivers, and Buffalo's offense versus Tampa Bay's offense, it's going to be a lot of points. These are 2 high-powered offenses and a secondary that is bleeding. And Stefan Diggs, he's Josh Allen's favorite guy. He's the number 1 target. I think he blows up and helps you get into the playoffs. Stefan Diggs is, in my eyes, a must start. I could see him being the wide receiver 1 at the end of this week. So I've given you some guys who are you're probably going to be starting them. So I got to give you some that aren't started as often. I'm going to give you Mike Williams. Mike Williams, when he gets volume, he succeeds and puts up great fantasy numbers. Keenan Allen is out due to COVID. The Giants, they are not a great defense. I think Mike Williams will see double-digit targets and have a vintage week 1 or week 2 or week 3 Mike Williams performance. And I think he goes off. He's started in 47% of leagues. So majority of leagues, he's not being started. I think Mike Williams helps you get to the fantasy football playoffs and win this week. So I am all in on Mike Williams. I'm ready to be burned by him. All right. Now, there are a few guys that I do also want to talk about, not as starts, but Jamar Jefferson. A lot of people have asked me on TikTok, hey, should I pick up Jamar Jefferson and start him now that Swift and Williams are out? No. Denver's defense, rush defense, pretty solid. Detroit is not a good offense. It's not the type of team where you want to chase whoever's starting. And Jamar Jefferson, let's be honest, he's a third string running back. I think you will regret picking him up and starting him. So I'm staying very far away from, honestly, everyone in Detroit. And then James Robinson, people have asked a lot of questions. Do I think he'll bounce back big time against Tennessee? No, I don't. I don't think he will. And that's coming from a James Robinson owner. I hope he does. I think there is a situation where Urban Meyer accepts that he was wrong, but I also think that it's equally or more likely that Urban Meyer continues being a horrible head coach, starting Carlos Hyde if James Robinson makes a mistake, and we could see another, 6-point game from James Robinson. I think he bounces back relatively to last week when he had 1 point, but I don't think he cracks 15 points this week against Tennessee, which really disappoints me. Now, against Houston and New York Jets, I think he will. I think he'll be fine, but then he gets New Orleans. It's going to be a tough end of season for James Robinson owners. And then I also want to say that I think DK Metcalf gets right. I'm not going to officially predict it because I don't want to jinx it, but I think DK Metcalf has a big game against Houston this week and puts up 18 plus points. Alrighty, and in terms of things that I want to see this week in football world, I want to see Lamar Jackson look like Lamar Jackson. I want to see that. Obviously, you're starting him if you own him, but I would love to just watch. He's so much fun to watch. I want to see some Lamar Jackson highlights. I want to see him break ankles and run and throw it deep to Marquise Hollywood-Brown. So that is one thing that I'm really hoping we get to see. I think it might happen. I want to see Washington and Dallas come right down to the line. I don't care who wins. I just want that to come right down to the line with Terry McLaurin absolutely devastating the defense. I think that'll be fun to watch. And then I really am interested to see how the backfield share between Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, how that works out with them both coming back. So I'm very excited about that. And one final note that I'm going to end this with is Jeff Wilson. He's in line to start, so I am starting him as a running back 3. He's the guy. It's not Jermichael Hasty, it's Jeff Wilson. So yeah, if you're bleeding at the running back position, he's the guy to own. Alrighty. As always, thank you so much for watching or listening to the podcast. It could be either now. And I hope you all have a great week 14. I hope your matchups go well, and I hope you make the playoffs. Not as always, I want to make a little announcement. TikTok has been taking down my content for no real reason. They've said I might get banned, so make sure you follow the podcast, the Instagram, and the YouTube, and all my alternate accounts that aren't TikTok. So go subscribe on YouTube to TheProFFet, and I'm going to be posting there more often. But as always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.